Hi, I'm Meg Faure, and welcome to this week's Checkers Baby vlog. The topic today is potty training. For those of you with toddlers, this will certainly be something that you're thinking about. Many years ago, when we were young, we didn't have such good quality disposable nappies, and so babies actually potty trained a little earlier. Nowadays, because of the way in which our wonderful disposable nappies wick up all the water so quickly, babies are not uncomfortable, and so many babies are potty training later. And so it becomes a challenge for parents to know how and when exactly to do it. So today we're going to talk about the what, when, and how. All right, so let's start with the when, because that's often the question. When should you start to potty train your babies? Well, some babies are ready at around 1 year of age, and many not until they're 2 years of age. My recommendation is that potty training should be done in summer. And the reason for that you'll see when we go through the steps. But I suggest that you start in the very first summer after your baby turns 18 months. By 18 months, most babies are ready to potty train. They're showing an interest in it. And by doing it in summer, you'll be able to activate it very, very quickly. So when is the right time? First summer after your baby turns 18 months. What about the what? What do you need in order to potty train? Well, the first thing that you need is a potty, and I do like the potties that are placed on the floor, and the reason for that is that they support your baby's feet. So having a floor-based potty is a good idea because your baby can sit on it and have their feet supported, which also becomes important, particularly for knowing how to poo, more than a wee. However, if you do choose to have one that is up on a toilet seat, so a little potty that fits over a toilet seat, that's fine, but try and get one that's got one that supports their feet while they're actually sitting on the potty or on the toilet. So the principle there is a potty on the floor is probably the best option, but otherwise go for one that's on top of the toilet. So how do we do it? Well, as soon as your baby's starting to show that they're ready, or when you've got a period of time when you're at home and it's nice warm summer weather, I suggest you start maybe on a time when you are frequently at home, maybe you're on leave, or maybe over the course of a weekend or in a holiday. So step number 1 is actually to let your baby go bare nappied. So there we are. Step 1, day 1 to day 3, you let your baby wander around with no nappy on at all. So what is the principle here? Well, because of the very high quality nappies that our babies are used to, they actually often are not aware of the sensation of going to the toilet. And so therefore they can't give you the signal that this is what I need to do. I need to go to the toilet because they haven't got that awareness. So by letting your little one run around without a nappy on, you actually allow them to feel the urine as it goes down their legs. And so what you'll find is that your baby will be running along, suddenly need to wee. They'll wee and they'll look down between their legs and they'll go, oh, what's happened? And that's the time at which you can say, oh, we've made a wee. Look what we've done, we've made a wee. So you give your baby the words and the feeling and the sensation for what happens after they've made a wee. Now, as this goes through the first 3 days, obviously it's going to be a messy process, and if your baby's indoors, you'll have to put down some towels or some plastic sheeting. But that's why preferably I say in summer so that it can be outdoors. So as this happens, your baby starts to learn that little signal that comes just before the urine goes down their legs is the signal to wee. And so you can actually start to reinforce that for your baby by telling them what's happening as they wee. And definitely don't shout at them. Doesn't matter where the accident happens. Just giving them the awareness on a positive level that that's what's happening. Towards the end of day 3, you can say, oh, looks like we've got a wee. Let's quickly go off to the loo, and you pick your baby up and pop them on the potty then. And that brings us to step 2. So step 1, there we've got step 1, just a reminder. Day 1 to day 3 is just running around without a nappy on, no trouble, but definitely learning the signals for what's happening as they urinate. Step number 2 comes next, and that's from day 4 to day 10, and that's putting your baby on the potty very regularly. So the concept there is that maybe your baby will actually start to tell you just before it's happening, in which case you pick them up and quickly pop them on top of the potty. But maybe they don't. And for this, I recommend that you set a timer for every 45 minutes. Give your toddler lots and lots to drink. So lots of water over that day, having freely available drinks and water available to them. And then every 45 minutes, setting the timer so that you can quickly just pick them up and tell them it's potty time. So we go and you sit down on the potty then, and you sit and wait until your baby makes a wee. Now, obviously for some of them, they're not just going to be able to wee on demand. So a couple of things you can do there is one, have a pile of books or magazines next to the potty so they can literally just sit down and kind of read the book on the potty, which allows them the time to just sit still and not be distracted or not wanting to get off the potty and run to go and do something else. The second thing is you can sit down on the loo next to them and make a wee, because the sound of you having a tinkle can maybe get them to tinkle. And then option 3 is you can actually turn on the taps in the bathroom so they get the sensation as well, get the idea. And so those act as triggers for your baby to wee. And then obviously as they've weed, you're going to reward them, tell them how clever they are, that they did it in the potty. And so you're going to do this for the next kind of 6 days, from day 4 to day 10. And every 45 minutes, taking your baby off during daylight, obviously, not at nighttime, to go and make a wee. And very quickly, you'll find that your baby sorts it out and knows that that's the time to wee, and gets up and goes. And then you move on to the last stage, which is step 3, which is day 10 onwards. And there you actually put your baby into training panties, or you can even have training nappies. But pull-ups would be the important concept, that your baby runs around with those. And of course, you're going to have accidents. In this situation, you're going to actually just take them down every time, every 45 minutes. But obviously, if you have accidents, don't worry about it. Just have a bucket of water that you can throw the nappies into, the panties into, because accidents are going to happen, and do not get frustrated with that. And really what you'll find is within 2 weeks, this is a very short period, your baby moves from being in nappies to being completely in panties. A couple of tips, and these are all tips that you can find in my potty training guide, which you can find on my website, and that's the potty training guide. So just a couple of tips. The first thing is, your baby's not going to get it right every time, and whatever you do, don't turn it into a warfare. Rather, support your baby, tell them how clever they are when they get it right, but definitely don't shout at them when they don't get it right. The second thing is that nighttime nappies take a much longer time to come off. So that happens usually in the preschool years, for some babies earlier, but certainly not before the age of 2, and for many babies only after the age of 3 or 4. And likewise with poos, many babies actually like to do it back in their nappy. And I think that's because they get a lot of reinforcement from having the nappy on them, having the nappy tight around them, so that they know exactly how to poo and how to push. And that sensation of knowing exactly how to push is something that babies have to learn. And so they don't all get it right when you put them onto the potty early on. And then just the final thing I want to say is that for many babies, going to the potty over this 10-day period is very frustrating, because they'll be in the middle of something exciting and something interesting, like playing outside, doing some water play, or playing with their Lego, or whatever it is, and they'll be frustrated at having to be whipped off. And my suggestion there would be to make sure you warn your baby about 20 minutes ahead of time, and say to them, oh, you know what? On 5 minutes ahead of time, we're off in 5 minutes, we're going to go make a wee. Finish up what you're doing so that we can go to the toilet and go to the potty. So give your toddler warning. So those are your 3 steps. Just to quickly rehash them. Step number 1, day 1 to day 3, take your baby's nappy down, or let them actually run around completely naked outside so they get the sensation of weeing. Day 4 to 10, every 45 minutes, pop your baby onto the potty so they can actually have an opportunity to wee, and make sure that they're very, very well hydrated, so they need to wee frequently. And then from day 10 onwards, you go into training nappies, training panties that are actually pull-ups. And again, every 45 minutes, but if the accidents happen, then that's not a problem. All right, so that's your easy guide to potty training in 2 weeks. Good luck with that one. Cheers.